Howdy, howdy, folks. It is DIECAST Buffet here again, and time for another extremely late video that we should have done, well, months ago. I made a post in my community feed, and I said, hey, let's do a Q&A, and I asked, for y'all to leave comments, and fortunately, y'all left a whole bunch of comments. I'm going to pick the best 15 questions I can find. If I answer like all 40 plus the questions, this video is probably gonna be like 30 minutes long. So we're gonna try to keep it short and sweet, but good. So make sure to give the video a huge thumbs up, and I want to say thank you all so much for leaving a comment on that post. I know y'all been waiting, or maybe y'all haven't been waiting, but you get what I'm trying to say. Let's go ahead and do it. All right, so we want to start this Q&A off with the cat Kevin Saunders. Apologize if I botch any of these names, because half the time I can't even English, so let's go ahead and dive into it. He says, if you could start your own cup team, what would you call it? Which manufacturer would you choose, and which 3 drivers would you choose? Now, this is, anytime I answer a question, you need context. Does this mean we're building for the future, or I want to win a championship right now? Because if I'm building for the future, number one, I think you got to go with the Chevrolet camp. I feel like GM they got like 27, 30 something NASCAR championships for a reason. I know Toyota and Ford, they have their flashes, but I think the solid rock, so to speak, of the whole sport has always been Chevy. I think that'd be the best manufacturer to pair with, especially since they just lost 2 teams with the Legacy Motor Club change. The team name would definitely be Buffet Racing South, because I stuck with it for the Duralast Cup Series. I stuck with it with my NASCAR 04 playthrough. That's definitely what I would go with. And the 3 drivers, again, if do I want to win a championship now, or do I want to win a championship later on? The 3 drivers I would choose, if I could have, a fantasy draft, if you will, it's got to be Kyle Larson, right? It's got to be Kyle Larson. In my opinion, I would want Chase Elliott as well, because I just feel like he's just too good at road courses. And then I would want Tyler Reddick. I feel like those 3 drivers, in my honest opinion, are today's generation of Tony Stewart, Jimmy Johnson, and Jeff Gordon. Statistically, they'll never be as great because the sport is more parity-centric. But I feel like if you want to talk about the big 3 in the sport for the next decade, I feel like it's going to be those 3. That's just my honest opinion. So that's hopefully a good answer to your question. All right, so our next question comes from Crash the Hedgehog 92. And he says, what is your favorite fallen flag team? Meaning a race team that's no longer around. Ganassi, man. I'll miss Chip Ganassi racing. That number 42 car. I love the font. A lot of people, they love the 3-car font. They love the 2-car font. Voice crack and all. But to me, I love the 42 Ganassi font. I don't know why, but I just love that freaking font. I miss the Ganassi cars, definitely. AW Racer 06 asks, would you rather win the Daytona 500 once or win 15 Xfinity races? I got to go with the Daytona 500, man. I mean, to me, statistically, Daytona 500 is worth 25 cup races. That's just my honest opinion, because when you win it, you're a legend in the sport, right? If you only win the Daytona 500 once, you're already ahead of like 95% of the entire sports, like everybody that's raced in the sport. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're already a legend. You might not be a Hall of Famer, but you're a legend. Trevor Bayne is a legend. Michael Waltrip is a legend. Derek Cope is a legend. That's just what it is. You win the Indy 500, you win the Daytona 500, man, you're above them all. I don't care what you do, you can wreck out every other race. You win the big one, you win the big one. Cody Bennett asks, what is your top favorite race win diecast that you own? Dude, that's a tough one. Are we talking 124 or are we talking 164? It's all about context. If I had to pick one, though, it's got to be my 2019 Kevin Harvick Texas race win. That was my first ever cup race, especially with the next year I went there. It rained out. It was the Texas 2020 Sierra Mist 500, if you will, and it just kept raining and misting and all kinds of BS, and we couldn't watch more than like 40 laps because, Tuesday morning, we got to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's definitely got to be that 2019 Texas race. I mean, I miss the racetrack so much, and that was such a awesome experience. 500 miles at Texas and seeing Harvick win, and it was just so cool, man. It was just such an amazing experience. I did a whole vlog on it. Best day of my life. Ryan Griffin, Family Guy fan, asks, outside of Hendrick Motorsports, what is your favorite NASCAR Cup Series team? Very good question. here's the reality. I like most of the drivers. I got to be honest with you. I like most of the drivers. I like most of the teams. There's only like three drivers I really don't want to see win each week. But if I had to choose a second favorite team, uh, I don't know if this is going to be accurate or not because I haven't stewed on it for 3 hours. But probably maybe Trackhouse. I'm a huge Hendrick guy. I love Hendrick. But it would probably be Trackhouse maybe because I like Ross Chastain a lot. I'm gonna go with that. Elliot95 asks, "What is your favorite current sponsor in NASCAR, and what was your favorite sponsor that's not in NASCAR anymore?" Oh, this one's easy, man. My favorite sponsor in the sport right now is definitely the Busch Beer guys. I look, their cars are so beautiful. Like the Busch Apple Ale car Harvick ran. I remember his Busch Gen X car. Oh my goodness, there's so many beautiful paint schemes they put on the racetrack. I love them. The silver paint schemes, that blue silver car you ran at the Clash last year. Love those. But if I had to pick one sponsor that's no longer in the sport that I miss more than any, it's Target. I don't know why, but I miss the Ganassi 42 Target car so much, man. I miss it. Will Robertson asks, "What's one NASCAR track that's in your bucket list in the future?" Oh boy. Look, I would love to go to all the racetracks. I'm that type of guy. If I had all the free time and the money in the world, I would go to every single NASCAR race. I just would. I just would. I would love to. The number one track that I would pick that I want to go to is the Bristol night race. I want to go to the Bristol night race. I want to experience Bristol at night just once in my life, right? I'll never be able to go. If I had to pick, I definitely would go with Bristol. NASCAR Gamer 101 asks, "Why will there be no more Duralast Cup Series?" Well, if I gave an explanation in the last Duralast Cup Series race. You've probably noticed each race has been like 7 months apart. I'm gonna keep it real. Things get crazy. You just get caught up. You're doing different things. Life happens. When I started this series, I was what, 19. I'm 24 now. So things just get more and more complicated. A good message for the younger fans out there. But point is, I just don't really have the time to do it. And then I look at the ratings for it, and it's just like, I've said this once, and I'll say it again. I could do maybe 10 to 15, maybe even 20 different videos I can film in my own personal free time. I don't get all the free time in the world. I can do that and then get 10 times maybe more views and have like 2 to 3 weeks worth of content compared to doing one Duralast Cup Series race that might get 900 views. You know what I'm saying? So my point is that logistically, it doesn't make much sense, unfortunately. If the viewership were there and there was a lot more around it, I absolutely would keep doing it. But it's just, you only get so much time to do things, and you have to allocate your resources and your time accordingly. And that's just the honest truth about that. So not to disappoint anyone, but that's just sometimes things happen. But the good news is I want to end it on a good note. I don't want to like a lot of diecast series, they just vanish, and I don't want to do that. I want to be like, okay, we have a series finale. This is the finale, and I know it's been like 8 months. We've been waiting for the Atlanta race. It is going to happen. I'm going to make sure, if I'm still alive, I'll make sure it's there. It's just when the timing's right, I'll get that filmed and I'll get it edited. A lot of people don't know it takes like a whole day worth of hours to get it made. You have to film it, edit it, check it, upload it, blah blah. It is a production. XX Elias XX 1924 asks, "What things got you into the sport of NASCAR? What could have been it could have been a driver, a race, a paint scheme. Just what got you into it?" Video games and diecast. So I remember getting just some random diecast, I think from my uncle or whatnot back in the early 2000s. And my family, I remember my grandma would buy me a whole bunch of like 2002 diecasts and stuff, and I just fell in love with that. And then playing the NASCAR Thunder games, I remember going to Blockbuster. You new cats out there won't know what that's like, but I remember going to Blockbuster, renting NASCAR Thunder '03, coming home, driving Kenny Schrader's M&M's car because I was like 3 years old and I loved M&M's. And I remember, when I was playing it, I would stop and I would be messing around with my coloring books. So, yeah, just the video games and the diecast. The fun fact is, I truly didn't start watching the sport like weekly until 2011. I remember seeing parts of the '04 Daytona 500. I think I actually have it on VHS, but I was 5 years old at the time. Obviously, I don't really have any memory of that except two. I remember seeing Michael Waltrip flip. I think that was the race he flipped. And then I remember seeing the commercial where like they have the different drivers and they have the RC cars and they're like driving around in a garage or something. It's my memory's a little bit fuzzy, but it was a really creative commercial with the Nextel sponsorship. I think it was for. But yeah, that's pretty much what it was. It was the diecast into video games, and when I turned 11 or 12, and that's when I really started watching the sport and just been a diehard fan since. NASCAR fan of Diecast asks, what is your favorite racing video game besides NASCAR? Oh boy, look, I'm a PS2 guy. I'm a 2000s fan. I love the PS2 games so much. Let me tell you, today's gaming market couldn't even hold a candle to the quality of games we had in the 2000s. No microtransactions, no updates, no buggy, botched, half-finished games. You don't have any hook or crook NASCAR games, wink wink, that we get nowadays. But like you had like Need for Speed, Midnight Club, you had Test Drive Eve of Destruction, you had Monster Jam games that were actually realistic, or some of them were partially realistic. You had the MX versus ATV off-road games. Oh my goodness. I mean, you could even just go street racing on GTA San Andreas. I mean, but if I had to pick one, it's got to be Midnight Club 3, because that game, I think, truly inspired me to want to do customization on things. It really got my mind thinking about how to design and customize and do things like that. And that game's always stuck with me. So I'd probably say Midnight Club 3. 24 Bayern fan asks, how did you get started on YouTube? So two parts answer to this. I've always wanted to do YouTube. All right. I mean, like, I remember when I was like 12 or 13 and I always just wanted to do YouTube. And I mean, I'm talking like I had a tripod, right? And a little wooden mount. And I took my little early 2010s iPod and I'm sitting there playing my video games and I had a little camera on looking at the screen. Horrible quality, horrible audio, no editing. I mean, it sucked, right? It pretty much took me a decade borderline to just kind of learn everything and understand how editing and lighting and all these different things work. But it really began in 2013 when I got back into NASCAR diecast collecting. I actually have a video of me showing my NASCAR collection as of 2013. I was 14 years old at that time, I believe. So that's something I would love to bring to the channel one day. It's not the greatest quality, but man, it was really cool. But yeah, I would say that really started it. But I truly started the channel in August 2018 with the Duralast Cup Series. I wanted to have a outlet for my passion of NASCAR diecast collecting, and that's how the channel's gotten here. MLCS Racing Network asks, favorite food? Oh man, look, how can you choose between your two favorite foods? It's like picking between, your kids or your cousins or so. I don't know. My two favorite foods, it's got to be steak, like grilled steak. I'm a Texan. Look, I love steak. And then you have hot wings. Not the ones that have the bone in it and you got to pick it up. No, I love boneless hot wings, yo. Buffalo Wild Wings. I love spicy food. I'm a huge spicy food. I'm not talking about the mild stuff. I'm talking ghost pepper, Carolina Reaper. I'm talking the real stuff, yo. But if I had to pick, it's probably hot wings. I'm a sucker for some good boneless hot wings. That's my honest answer. Lino Nextel Creators 2.0 asks, what was a paint scheme that, I think he meant like, he accidentally put look. So we're going to go with like, that you like so much that you really want it in diecast form. This answer is so simple. Every diecast I want to be made. I want every paint scheme from every back marker, every ARCA car, every truck, every Cup Series. I want a 164 for every single paint scheme, and that's the honest truth. Ninja Xavier 3 asks, do you breathe air? Occasionally I do. Sometimes I'm kind of finicky on it. Sometimes I'm like, you know what, maybe not today, maybe tomorrow. But yeah, occasionally I do. Racing US 95 asks, if you could make a NASCAR track, what would you call it? What would the track layout be? And how many different configurations would it have? You know, I love all kinds of different configurations for racetracks. The only ones I probably don't like the most is street courses. I'm not a street course guy. That's one thing that bugs me about Indy cars. They race 15 street courses with like 2 speedways. But if I had to be honest with you, I would love to see a Bristol style track, like super high banked, very narrow, beating and banging. I would like a racetrack like that in the Houston area. I think that would be really cool because I live near Houston. I live 7 miles or 7 hours, yeah, hours away from the nearest racetrack, which is Fort Worth, Texas, which that track sucks half the time. Um, I would love to see like a Bristol style track, but maybe a little bit smaller, a little bit more beating and banging. That would be really fun, like super high banked, right? I think that would be really, really cool. Or maybe have a racetrack that like it elevates so the cars go up and they kind of go down, kind of like a Hot Wheels track in a way. Not like a crazy one, but like the elevation. Like imagine Bristol, but instead of it being flat, like the cars actually go up and go down. I think that would create an interesting racing atmosphere. A little bit of gravity, when you're coming off the corner, gravity's pushing you. That would be kind of interesting, maybe. I'm sure they could find a way to do that. Custom Diecast Models asks, favorite diecast that got produced from the 2022 season? There was a lot of really cool paint schemes that got made, but it's tough because I love the back marker cars, but in terms of just the sheer quality, the one I just look at the most, it's got to be William Byron's 2022 Darlington Throwback. That paint scheme, man. The metallic blue, the sun red orange, they knocked it out of the park, brother. They did a great job. I gotta go with that one. Brian Griffin, Family Guy fan, asks, what is your one favorite NASCAR Xfinity and truck diecast you own? You actually got 2 questions. That's pretty good. But my favorite truck series diecast is definitely going to be the Joey Logano 2022 Planet Fitness diecast. Look, I'm a huge fan of working out. I love trying to eat better. I don't drink soda. I don't smoke. I don't drink alcohol or anything like that. I'm not perfect. I still eat hot wings, now and then, but I try to eat better. I don't eat candy, right? I don't eat next to no fried food. Like I know hot wings are considered fried, but I might eat hot wings like once every 4 months. Like I'm not even joking. I don't eat candy. I don't know. I don't put a crap load of sugar in my coffee anymore. More of just a little bit. I used to put creamer and a buttload of sugar, and I've reduced that a lot. I don't know. I don't eat fast food pretty much anymore, except for like my one hot wings plate like every 4 months. I just don't. I just try to eat as clean as possible. I'm not perfect. I'm a carnivore. You eat meat and you're like, oh yeah, I'm eating healthy, and you realize there's like 6,000 grams of sodium. But I'm rambling, guys. I'm rambling. To answer your question, definitely the Planet Fitness car or truck. And the second one, I probably got to go with the Ty Gibbs 2022 Darlington Throwback. Anytime I see an Interstate Batteries Labonte Throwback, I'm interested. So I got to go with that one. Thomas B asks, what was your first NASCAR diecast? I got to be honest with you, I have no idea, because it was kind of like my family would get me I don't know, it would be like a box of random cars. It'd be like 6 or 7 of them. I was a huge Hot Wheels collector, or I still have my original Hot Wheels, but I have Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars. So I was already interested in cars, and then my family would just my uncle or someone would just give me a bunch of random diecasts. It'd be like some 90s racing champions cars or some early 2000 pieces, and then my grandma would go and she would surprise me, and she would buy me some 2002 cars. I remember getting like the Jimmy Spencer and Sterling Marlin cars from 2002. I was so excited. I was like, ah. So I have no idea. I really don't. It was kind of like I don't know, you just wake up one day, it's like, oh yeah, I'm a NASCAR fan. That's how it feels, because I just don't remember it. And our last question is going to be too fast for you. When did you become a NASCAR fan? I'd probably say when I was around 2 or 3, because that's literally what I remember. I never watched the NASCAR races, truly. I really didn't. I remember, hearing, oh, Dale Jr.'s racing. You should come look at it, on TV. And I was a kid, man. Sometimes as a kid, you're just not interested. I was more interested in the racing games. Like, I could sit there and play NASCAR '05 or '04. Or, no, I didn't have '04. I only rented it for a little bit. But I had NASCAR 3, NASCAR 6, X, Y, and Z. I could play that thing for 10 hours straight. But I just never had the true interest to watch the sport for whatever reason, you know. But I would definitely say probably '01 to '02 is really when I can probably say I became a fan, because that's what most of my collection consists of, is '01 and '02 from that time period. So I'd probably go around there. So when I was 2 or 3, because I was born in '99, so I'd probably say I was 2 or 3. That's when I really started to become a NASCAR fan. So you can pretty much consider my whole life I've been a stock car racing fan, and I love it, man. There's just something about it, about cars driving in left turns for 4 hours. I love it. I just can't help it. So that's going to wrap up today's video, guys. I want to say thank y'all so much to everyone who submitted a question. I'm sure my answers were not that great. I could barely English half the time. I'm a pretty basic dude. I'm gonna keep it real, pretty basic. A lot of times you see people on like YouTube videos, and you might think they have some amazing, amazing life and all these crazy stories and stuff. And I'm just a basic dude, y'all. That type of thing. So now I'm wanting hot wings. Thank y'all so much for watching the video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And of course, for all your diecast shopping needs, these are some 2022 diecasts here. If you want to, save on shipping, you know what to do. Promo code down below. Don't have to use it. You can use that, and you can save $6 on shipping. Any orders, $30 more with the code DIECASTS buffet. So that's all for now. This is the second Q&A or third Q&A I think I've done on the channel. Maybe I'll do another one soon. Who knows? I really like answering y'all's questions. I don't know why. I like talking. I don't know why I like talking, even though I'm like the most basic jabroni out there. I'm too humble. Have a great one, everybody. God bless. Diecast Buffet, signing off.